But to make it even more clear, he tells this beautiful story that is much more than just a story about our need to forgive. The first time that this story really sunk deep into my heart was watching an in-service, a video training that we received as seminary teachers many, many years ago. It was given by Elder Jeffrey R. Holland when he did an in-service on video, and he covered this parable, and it was amazing how much this story came to life in making me feel a desire to become more like the Savior and to connect with him. I'll show you what we mean here. Verse 23, therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which would take account of his servants. And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him which owed him 10,000 talents.
What does that mean anciently?
Yeah.
And how do we translate that into today's numbers?
It's such a tricky thing because when you use the word talent, it's not necessarily gifts or natural abilities like we use the word talent. It's a weight. It's a measure of money. And we're talking about a king. And usually the currency of kings is gold. Now you would be talking, he's got this man, this one servant who owes him 10,000 talents. Now, one of the problems with interpretation here and trying to understand this historically in its context is biblical scholars can't agree on how much the talent actually weighed. It depends on whether they're using a Babylonian talent, an Egyptian talent. There are a variety of measures that all use this same word, talent, that ends up in the Greek. So we're not sure. But it's a range somewhere from 35 to maybe 200 pounds. The one that I like using as kind of a rough estimate is 1 talent being approximately 75 pounds. So for those of you who use the metric system, it's about 34 kilograms, just for a point of reference. That's a lot of weight, especially if you're talking about gold. And now if you've got 10,000 of these, let's just have fun with this for a second. The price of gold fluctuates quite heavily over time.
Yeah, let's just imagine what, $1,700 per ounce?
Let's just take the price of gold that it's been higher than this in the recent past, and it's been a little bit lower than this in the recent past as well. But let's say that we put it at 1,700 pounds per ounce.
$1,700 per
Sorry, $1,700 per ounce. Well, if you multiply 16 ounces to get a pound, you're now, if you want to go buy a pound of gold, it's going to be roughly $27,200 for 1 pound of gold. Are you watching what's happening here? Now, to get a talent, we don't know for sure, but we're going to play with some numbers here to give a point of reference. If you multiply this by 75 pounds, you end up with a fairly big number, $2,040,000. This is per talent using the 75 pounds or 34 kilograms. $2 million to buy a talent of gold. Now, that number goes very large when you turn it into 10,000 talents. You just add 4 zeros to this, and what you end up with is $20,400,000,000 dollars, for 10,000 talents. $20 billion, and those are American dollars.
And we were looking at how many days of day wages, if you had to pay off that's what you owed the king.
Making how much an hour?
I mean, it just back then people didn't make very much. Imagine you get lucky enough that you're making $60,000 US dollars a year. it would take you 340,000 years to pay this off. If I've done my math right. The calculator never lies.
Calculator's got to be right.